The story of Ruth, a journey of faith and redemption. Chapter 1, a new beginning. Once upon a time in Bethlehem, there was a great famine. Elimelech, a man from this town, moved with his wife Naomi and their 2 sons to Moab, hoping to find food. But soon, Elimelech died, leaving Naomi a widow. Her sons married Moabite women, Orpah and Ruth, but then both sons died as well. Naomi was left alone with her daughters-in-law. Feeling sorrowful, Naomi decided to return to Bethlehem when she heard that the Lord had blessed her homeland with food again. She urged Orpah and Ruth to stay in Moab and remarry, as she had nothing to offer them. Orpah reluctantly left, but Ruth chose to stay with Naomi, saying, "Where thou goest, I will go, and where thou lodgest, I will lodge. Thy people shall be my people, and thy God my God." Together, Naomi and Ruth returned to Bethlehem, where Naomi was welcomed by the townsfolk. Though Naomi felt empty, Ruth was determined to help. She went to glean in the fields, collecting leftover grains from the harvest. Chapter 2, Gleaning in Favor. Ruth happened to glean in the fields of Boaz, a wealthy relative of Naomi's late husband. Boaz noticed Ruth and asked about her. When he learned of her devotion to Naomi, he was impressed. Boaz treated Ruth kindly, instructing his workers to leave extra grain for her and ensuring she was safe. Ruth returned home with a generous amount of barley and shared the day's events with Naomi. Naomi was thrilled to learn that Boaz, a kinsman redeemer, had shown Ruth favor. A kinsman redeemer was a close relative who could restore a family's inheritance by marrying a widow. Naomi advised Ruth to continue gleaning in Boaz's fields and hoped that Boaz might act as their redeemer. Chapter 3, The Threshing Floor. As the harvest season ended, Naomi devised a plan. She instructed Ruth to wash, anoint herself, and put on her best clothes. Ruth was to go to the threshing floor where Boaz was winnowing barley, and after he had eaten and drunk, she should lie down at his feet and uncover them. This act was a way of asking for his protection and marriage. Ruth followed Naomi's plan. Boaz was surprised to find her at his feet in the middle of the night. Ruth asked Boaz to spread his garment over her as a sign of his willingness to marry her and redeem their family. Boaz was moved by Ruth's request and assured her that he would do everything he could to fulfill her request. However, he mentioned that there was another relative closer in line to be the redeemer. Boaz promised to resolve this matter the next day. Chapter 4, Redemption and Joy. Early the next morning, Boaz went to the town gate where legal matters were settled. He gathered 10 elders as witnesses and spoke to the closer kinsman redeemer, offering him the chance to redeem the land that belonged to Naomi and to marry Ruth. The closer relative declined, fearing it might affect his own inheritance. Boaz then declared that he would redeem the land and marry Ruth. With the legal matter settled, Boaz and Ruth were married. The town elders and people blessed their union, praying for prosperity and honor in Bethlehem. Ruth and Boaz had a son named Obed. Naomi, who had been bitter and empty, found joy in caring for her grandson. The women of Bethlehem celebrated, saying, "Blessed be the Lord, which hath not left thee this day without a kinsman, that his name may be famous in Israel." Obed grew up to be the father of Jesse, and Jesse became the father of King David. Ruth's story is a beautiful example of loyalty and divine provision, showing how faith and dedication can bring about great blessings and fulfill God's plans.